Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Coffee and Crypto. My name's Don. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. This is actually attempt 2 of today's live stream. I'm hoping this one works a little bit better than the last one. I was cut off after about 2 minutes and 30 seconds of streaming, so apologies if you were watching the previous video and it was cut off. We're not having very good times with our current Wi-Fi provider, and you may have noticed that over the weekend and even this week, Monday and Tuesday, I couldn't get Coffee and Crypto out, unfortunately, from the office because of the Wi-Fi. Now, anyway, let me try restart the video. Let me try and get back into it. I'm just going to bring it up on my phone so I can see that we are live. Now, for anyone that is not watching us live and watching this back throughout the day, this is a live show, so there is some hiccups along the way, and that's why I love to show you those hiccups, because streaming ain't easy all the time, and live streaming can be a bit fun when you have not so great internet. So anyway, we'll crack on into it. Apologies for anyone watching it live who's having those difficulties, but we'll crack straight back into the video. I'll just briefly touch on the top 10 projects or top 10 crypto projects for the pricing just for today's video. Just quickly run through them so you all know where we're sitting at the moment. So Bitcoin currently sitting at 30,400, Ethereum up $1,848, BNB at $233. We then have XRP at 46 cents, Cardano at 27 cents, Dogecoin at 0.06 cents, and then Tron at 0.07 cents, and lastly Solana at $16.27. So, like I said before, top 10, not much movement. We have seen a kind of 1 or 2% drop or gain here or there in the top 10. Yesterday we had a bit of a drop in the market. However, we seem to have recovered a little bit since then. And yeah, prices don't seem as affected as they once were yesterday afternoon. So, first things first, I do have a lot to cover. I'm going to brief through it as much as possible because there's a lot to get through in regards to FTX. We also have some MicroStrategy news where they have essentially bought, at this point it just seems that they've bought all of the Bitcoin supply, but they have bought even more Bitcoin. And yeah, I've got an interesting tweet to show you as well, which breaks down just their current position. Are they actually in profit from their Bitcoin buys because they've been buying it at highs and lows, and what's actually going on? Are they in profit? Are they going to make money, or will they be margin called? Because I know there was a lot of chat about them being margin called and having to potentially sell their Bitcoin. But yeah, look, let me go through this news. I'll cover the MicroStrategy stuff, give my opinion on it. But first, let's look at the FTX news because this is interesting. So FTX reboot is on the way apparently, and the new CEO is holding talks with some interested parties. So the bankrupt exchange, so went bankrupt back in October, I believe, apparently took one step closer to relaunching as an entirely new exchange. According to the chief, John Ray, he said the company had begun interesting parties to the reboot of the FTX.com exchange. Bit of an interesting one. Now, sources familiar with the matter said the firm has been holding talks with investors around financing the potential reboot. Blockchain lending company Figure is among the parties who have displayed interest in the process. Cointelegraph obviously have tried to reach out, as they always do, but the company has said, well, no, essentially there's no response to be given at this time. Potential bidders reportedly have until the end of next week to lodge letters of intent and a document that outlines the terms and conditions on their participation. Notably, the sources said that the current FTX creditors would potentially be offered a stake in the reorganised crypto exchange, among other forms of compensation. Now, I don't know how I feel about this. I never used FTX personally, but I know obviously a lot of people either watching this or a lot of people kind of most so in the US used FTX and were burned, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about an exchange coming back. under the same name. Yes, it's a completely different exchange. It's going to be quite get away from that. Take Bitcoin, for example. In 2012, it was used for not as great things as we like to use it for back then. It was used for the drug market and whatnot back in 2012. It moved away from that quite quick, but people still hold on to that and they don't forget about that. So is it going to be the same with FTX? It cost people billions of dollars, lost billions of dollars. So will they ever get over that? I guess only time will tell. And yeah, we'll find out very, very soon, because it looks like they are going to reboot, which will be an interesting one. Okay, let's move on to some MicroStrategy news then. So you've seen we posted this in our Discord community yesterday, but you've probably seen bits and bobs of it on Twitter as well. It always makes big news when MicroStrategy buys more Bitcoin. I'm kind of over it now. It is obviously great to see a big company buying so much. Maybe it's jealousy, I don't know. But yeah, apparently they've just bought another $347 million worth of Bitcoin. And I want to chat about it because, yeah, some people are now noticing it's a bit of a short-term top signal. And when it happens, it tends to dump the bit of the price. So, yeah, again, it's something we talk about and we have been speaking about all week this week with our crypto training course that we're currently kind of working through. We're on day 4. But we're talking about how the big names like this will tell you that they're buying to get liquidity so that other people can sell and people can sell off and whatnot. So it's a bit of a common theme. It's nothing new. But again, we've seen it again yesterday with MicroStrategy saying and announcing that they've bought 340 odd million of it. So very interesting to see. But let me get into this. I want to show you an interesting tweet as well regarding the profits that they may be in, or if they're having to potentially sell because of a loss or whatever it may be. And I guess it plays into the dollar cost average thing that we always talk about. So let me try and get the last part of my coffee here before it literally goes freezing cold, and then we'll read into the MicroStrategy news. Oh, never mind, the coffee was freezing cold. Fantastic. Right. That is why I moved to the Starbucks iced lattes, but I was, for anyone that watched the episodes when I was on the Starbucks iced lattes, you will know that it was essentially I was drinking refrigerated, well, I won't mention the drug online, but it felt like it was spiked. So yeah, I'm back to my OG Greg's flat white, but I get to kind of 3/4 of the way down and it ends up freezing cold. But yeah, anyway, is what it is. The coffee is consumed. Let's move back on to the MicroStrategy news. So, software analytics firm MicroStrategy, you all know and love them now, or at least by now. So, they're worth around $347 million this was yesterday. That was 12,333 Bitcoin that they purchased. After the transaction, the total balance of Bitcoin that they now own is at a staggering $4.52 billion, roughly about 152,333 Bitcoin. That's insane. So they've got an average price of around 29,668, which is not actually all that good when you think about it, because we're currently trading slightly above that, but we're trading pretty much on there. So they've not really made much profit from their $4.5 billion that they've put into it. But again, like I said, the tweet I'm about to show you and break down will make more sense in just a sec. So the total average purchase price is close to 28,136. It was disclosed in today's announcements. The coins were bought on between April 27th and June 27th. It's funny how they're buying them, but they never tell you they're buying them until they're finished buying them, because they know stuff will happen to the price. The purchase was partly financed with the new issuance of stock. So the company wrote, on May the 1st, 2023, MicroStrategy entered into a sales agreement with Cowen & Company, LLC, and Concord Genity, LLC, a sales agent, pursuant to which MicroStrategy may issue and sell shares of a Class A common stock. Par value at 0.001 per share, having an aggregate offering price of up to $625 million from the time to through agent. So quite a lot of money has exchanged hands in stock. As of June 28th, MicroStrategy has issued and sold an aggregate of just over 1 million shares, and under the agreement for total net proceeds of $337 million. It was previously reported that they added 1,045 Bitcoin worth around $29 million to its balance sheet. And the company is led by Michael Saylor. You've all heard of him. He is a big Bitcoin maxi. He's quite well known in the space. But yeah, he's been an outspoken advocate, we all know that, for Bitcoin and for spearheading corporations charged to adopt the world's largest crypto. So he's been quite, I would say, at the forefront. Him and Elon Musk have been at the forefront on Twitter. I know it's just a social media platform, but crypto Twitter is the platform to be on if you're involved in crypto. But yeah, he's been one of the kind of main guys behind it the whole time throughout the bull and the bear, and he's been continuing to buy. He hasn't bought for some time though. Can't remember the exact date that he bought, but he's not been buying for quite some time. But there was a lot of talk of him, or not a lot of talk, a lot of hate, because he was spending so much money on Bitcoin. A lot of FUD basically from big corporations who don't quite understand the Bitcoin buys and the future of it are saying that he's obviously a bit strange for spending so much on it. But look, only time will tell. He's essentially kind of at break even at the moment, even though he's stuck in 4.5 billion. Maybe if he had followed this page in our Instagram, and maybe if he was in Discord in 2020, he could have been buying it when I was buying it at $4,000, and he could have made a lot more money. But look, I won't hold him to it. He's obviously got a bit more money than me, not much. He's got a bit more, but not too much. But he's put in 4.5 billion. I'm probably about three and a bit billion deep into Bitcoin. But again, my average buy is a lot lower. So if he was to find us earlier, and he was to get into CC Pro a lot earlier and buy, even if Michael Saylor found us at the start of the year, he could have bought Bitcoin at $15,000, and that could have sorted his dollar cost average price out significantly. But look, who am I? What do I know about crypto? I've only been buying it since $3,000 or $4,000, What do I know? But anyway, yeah, that's kind of the first part of the news I wanted to mention regarding MicroStrategy. They are quite deep, and they are getting noticed when it comes to big players in the Bitcoin kind of holding market. So here's the chart I wanted to show you then. So MicroStrategy, their ticker is MSTR because they are a publicly traded company. It's one of the biggest holders of Bitcoin with a hoard valued at, I don't know, it says here 4.64. Obviously, the prices change throughout the day, right? But it's about $4.5 billion worth they have of of Bitcoin. Due to the growth, it's recorded that a $18.9 million write-down on its Bitcoin holdings during the first quarter, which is a decrease from the $197 million logged in the previous quarter. So this here's showing you, like I said, is the MicroStrategy stock weekly growth. This is to do with the actual stock price itself because of the potential buying of Bitcoin, etc. So you won't make much sense of it at the moment, but you can see it's up and down, kind of all over the place. So since 2020, Bitcoin has registered an average daily return of negative 2% on the MSTR announcements. So when they say they're announcing it, it tends to go down. On average, it's 2%. So the average weekly return on the MSTRs, I'll just say MicroStrategy, it's a lot easier. So return following MicroStrategy's announcements is slightly positive at 0.03. So basically what they're saying here is they announce it, which is not always that great. It seems to go down slightly by kind of a few percent, on average 2%. But overall, the actual performance of the stock is up. So it might look bad, and people kind of give them a bit of a hard time for that, saying that it does look bad. But actually, when you look at it, it's actually overall quite good. So again, just to reiterate, they now possess 152,333 individual Bitcoin in their holdings, which is Yeah, it's pretty mad, to be honest. MicroStrategy outperforming since adoption of the Bitcoin strategy. And the reason they're doing it isn't because he just wants to hold a lot of Bitcoin. He believes that it's going to help his stock price, and quite clearly it is helping his stock price because they are up 117%, whereas other ones, as you can see on your screen right now, are either down or only up 20%, 8%, 30%. So it's definitely working. So he's doing it, obviously, like I said, to get Bitcoin and to make money from the Bitcoin, but he's also doing it to help pump his company stock as well. So it's a massive, massive business move from him. That's why they're going so public with it, and it's paying off. Even though he's getting all the stick from it, people are slagging him, saying it's not great, it's not paying off. If you actually look at the fundamental stats, you can see that MicroStrategy are up 117%. Therefore, it is working overall as a business, and it will only do even better when the bull market comes back around and Bitcoin inevitably gets above 100k, 150k, whatever it may be in the next cycle. So yeah, hats off to Michael Saylor. Now, moving on to some KuCoin news. Again, you may have seen this yesterday. People are panicking and freaking out. Essentially, it's KYC. Most companies are going to start introducing it now because of anti-money laundering, especially if they want to be accepted in the US and I guess the UK. Crypto is becoming more adopted and more mainstream. So KYC will be coming into more of these companies like KuCoin, they're not based in the UK, I think they're based in Singapore, or maybe that's BYBIT. I think KuCoin are the Seychelles, which again, they've got different laws out there, but in order to be used elsewhere in the world, they need to kind of comply with some of the world's existing KYC stuff. So yeah, anyway, they've put out an announcement saying that on starting from July 15th, which is still got some time, just over 2 weeks away, you'll have to complete some KYC to access some features on KuCoin. Such users will not be able to deposit new funds while withdrawing will remain unaffected, the announcement notes. So people, like I said, are freaking out. I don't want to touch on this too much because people are freaking out for no real reason. It's essentially, they're not meaning that you can never use the exchange again. It's just saying if you want to deposit new money, then they need to know who you are so they can prove where the funds are coming from, much like you've done with Binance, with SwissBorg, with Coinbase, with your bank. KYC is fairly standard across any financial institution. And again, some people get their back up because they think, well, crypto should just be about us. They shouldn't need to know about me and whatever it may be. And there is ways of doing that, MetaMask and stuff, or a hot wallet. It's a bit more relaxed. Uniswap, for example. But if you want a kind of tier 1, tier 2 exchange, and you want an app on your phone and stuff, some of them will require some KYC if you want to add new money to the exchange. However, as it mentions, withdrawals are not affected, and they're going to start the KYC process from July 15. So yeah, don't panic. Don't start kind of selling all your assets and freaking out because it's not going to change much for you unless you use KuCoin as your main exchange. Obviously, it might change a little bit, but yeah, you can still move money around from exchange to exchange. But KuCoin in particular are asking for some KYC, and KYC being know your customer. They'll probably want you to upload a picture of your passport and driving license just to prove you are who you are, and you might get some Face ID logins and stuff. Just kind of, well, you already should have most of that, but yeah, it's an added security thing. It's not a bad thing. People do look down on it, but yeah, it's not a bad thing overall. Now, lastly, one thing I wanted to touch on before I finish up for today's video is more news from China. So Web3, I have a big focus on this. Even in, again, this week's training, we've focused quite a lot on Web 1, Web 2, and especially Web 3. So Web3 firms are spending up to $25 million on Hong Kong crypto licenses. You'll know that I've been speaking very, very highly of the Chinese market and what they're trying to do with crypto. And here is more news from that. So Web3 firms in Hong Kong are spending anywhere between 20 million, and 200 million Hong Kong dollars, which is about 2 to 25 million US, and the acquisition of virtual asset service providers, which is a VASP, they could call it, licenses, so that they can trade and become part of the Chinese and Asian kind of communities, or crypto communities, should I say. So since the traditional finance institutions have no relevant prior infrastructure and have gone from 0 to 1 in various aspects such as products and teams, the cost associated has been very high. However, even for experienced crypto institutions, the cost of obtaining a license is not cheap. But they know it's an investment in themselves, so they know that getting this, even though it's not cheap, will pay off in the future because they'll be first to market, they'll have the licenses in place, so when the market really picks up next year, then they are already set up and they can cash in on that. So exchanges such as OKX, BitGET, HashKey Pro, OSL and Gate.io, you may have heard of kind of 3 out of 4 or 5 of them. They are quite big, I guess, and they've already begun operations. As of June 27th, OKX has grown to 8,800 registered users in Hong Kong with a cumulative trading volume of around $150 million with the special administrative region of China. So a certain part of China that allows crypto trading. So not all of China will allow it. It's a certain a certain part of it. But they have grown to 8,800 registered users, which is huge for something that they've only just really started kicking off and doing. So Hong Kong unveiled the new VASP licenses requirements for crypto exchanges. Among many of them, firms must make proper disclosures on user statistics and company financials to the Securities and Futures Commissions of Hong Kong for the regulatory approval. So again, this is the SEC or the FCA. This is the version of them in Hong Kong called the SFC. Exchanges that do not abide to the requirements will be required to cease operations in the SAR, which again is that set area in China, by the middle of next year. So look, again, it's all down to regulation. However, China and Hong Kong especially are approaching this with the positive regulatory framework that we've been asking for, or companies have been asking for a long time now in the US, whereas China are trying to start with that regulation and invite people in rather than letting them trade for 5 years, 6 years, whatever it may be, and then sue them to try and get money from them. Sound familiar? Because that's exactly what the SEC have been doing. So yeah, anyway, Hong Kong, as CZ has tweeted out here, Hong Kong moving forward, and the reason for that is they're now accepting and pushing a lot of crypto acceptance in the country. So yeah, big up to Hong Kong and the Chinese SAR region, because in crypto we really need Asia to get behind. I mean, don't get me wrong, they already are. Don't get me wrong, Singapore and Japan and whatnot are huge, but China's always been a bit funny with crypto. So obviously the more the merrier, especially there's a lot of tech guys in China who would love and do somehow get involved in crypto. I don't know if it's maybe VPNs and stuff, but there's a lot of tech guys out there, and tech women as well, I'm sure, that would love to get a piece of this. And the market in China is absolutely huge. The untapped potential is huge. Billions of people, literally, did I say that funny? There's billions of people out there that could potentially get into crypto, again, that would help the supply and demand aspect. The more demand, the less supply, especially with ETFs and stuff coming in, the higher chances we have of prices moving to the upside. So anyway, again, like I said, great news coming from Hong Kong and China. I seem to kind of talk about this every other day now. There seems to be positive China news, which is not something I thought I'd ever be talking about even 2 years ago. So yeah, it's good to see. Anyway, that's all from me today for this episode of Coffee and Crypto. Thank you so much again for tuning in to today's video. Again, I did have a little bit of a technical issue this morning with my Wi-Fi, so apologies if you were watching it live and you felt that. But we're back on and we have been quite good. There's no issues as I can see. If you do want anything more from me and the team, you can of course join our Discord. We have currently over 2,000 members, well actually 2,200 members to be exact, actively kind of viewing our content each and every single day with a very, very active community in our crypto chat room. So yeah, feel free to get some more information. First of all, you could just pause your screen and see what's in front of you right now. We do have a few different tiers that you can join. I do suggest, if you are in crypto for the long term, I do suggest checking out our CC Pro Alpha. But yeah, look, don't take it from me. Go on, read some reviews, let me know what you think, and there's a link in the description below where you can click. Takes you straight to our dashboard here, where you can have a look around, look at some pictures, look at some reviews, and read what we provide. That's all from me. I need to now pop downstairs to our office downstairs, and we have another training day today. So we do also offer in-person crypto training. We're on day 4 of a 5-day intense training course. It is going amazing so far, and I'm absolutely buzzing to get back down here. The course starts in 9 minutes, so I literally have to finish up and wrap up today's video and pop down, get plugged in, and start another full day of training. So look, the work does not stop around here. I look forward to seeing you all again. Hopefully tomorrow morning you'll join me live. If not, I will see you all in another video of Coffee and Crypto very, very soon. Have a great day. See you soon. See ya.